Hello and welcome to Jojo's Tasty Treats. We're going to do another DIY. This time we're going to be doing a mermaid themed DIY. So let's get started. We have our cookies, which have already been, we pre-drew them so that we know where we're going to be doing our lines. We have our royal icing, our sprinkles, and our toothpicks. So we're going to get started first with the seashell. Seashell, we're going to do this nice peachy color. I'm going to grab our scissors. And we're just going to snip a small hole. We can always make the hole bigger. Want to always start small. And we've cut our hole. So we're going to go ahead and go trace those lines that we drew. I'm going to start with the outside. So what we're going to do after we draw is we're going to fill that area in. We're going to grab our toothpick. Going to go ahead and fill in any of the gaps that we might see. You can always hold your cookie. As you see, my cookie was sort of moving around. So we can just hold it on the bottom. Now once we fill that in, I'm just going to give it a little shake. Let's move these out of the way. And we're going to move on to the next section. We're going to skip the second and head over to the third. Reason why we're skipping is so that we can allow the ones that we've done to dry just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and fill those empty spots. And it would just give us the separation of the seashell. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to be able to get enough of that royal icing. Grab your toothpick. Just start filling in the areas. And this is when you can really just take a look at it. Make it nice and smooth. If you see any bumps, just go ahead and give it a little shake. And it would just smooth the area out. So we're going to continue to do this. Skipping one, heading on to the next one. If sometimes you see gets a little clumpy in your tip, just go out. That's why we have this wet napkin over here. We just go clean the tip, and that way it's nice and new. So that way we get our nice crisp lines. So again, gonna follow the lines that are pre-drawn on your cookie and then go ahead and fill it in. You can take your time. Grab your toothpick and fill it in. Give it a little shake. we're just gonna go and connect that. Go ahead and fill this whole area up. And fill this area as well. I'm just gonna smooth everything. Get all the gaps that you see. You don't want to leave any gaps. Give it a little shake. And at this point, we can go ahead and throw a few of these sprinkles at the end. Just to give it a little pop of color. You really could do anything you want to do with your cookie set. You can use a toothpick, you know, to move some of the sprinkles around if you see that they're overlapping. Grab a few more. And then just, you know, move them around however you like. Now we're just going to leave this cookie alone. We're going to let it set for a little bit and we're going to move on to something else. So we're going to push this to the side, let it dry before we do the next areas that you see there. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with our mermaid tail. So we're done with this color for now. Again, we'll go back to this color. Now when you're finished with the colors, what you can always do is just bring it over here to your napkin, squeeze it, and it's just going to keep that little end from drying out so that you can reuse it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and grab our teal. We have two different teals. We have a darker teal and a lighter teal. Darker teal will be for this part of the tail, and this lighter one is going to be for the bottom part. So we're going to start with the darker again. Cut a hole. You don't want to cut a hole too big. You can always make the hole bigger if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to outline. Take your time. No rush. Then we're going to go ahead and fill it. Again, you don't have to be perfect. Get as close as possible as you can to the edge. Okay. Grab a toothpick. I'm going to go ahead and fill it. Any little gaps that you see. If you see any air bubbles, you can go ahead and pop those as well. If you see I didn't really make it to the edge, this is the point where you can just drag it a little bit and fix your cookie. Same thing over here. Give it a little shake. If you see that it's not nice and smooth, you can always go right back and smooth it out, okay? Now what we're gonna do really quick before this color sets and hardens is we're gonna go ahead and cut a small tip of the light color. Okay, and we're just gonna go ahead and do 3 little dots. One, 2, 3. Okay. So you see we have our 3 little dots. Eventually they will seep in. And we can put maybe 2 more. One there. And another one there. Honestly, you can do as many different designs as you like. All right. So now we're gonna let that cookie set. And again, did the same thing, just squeezed the tip so that way your royal icing doesn't dry at the tip and make it hard for you to use it again. So we're gonna put this to the side. I'm going to go ahead and start with our starfish. Starfish is gonna be a nice, pretty purple. It's always good to have your little cloth where you could just wipe your hands. Again, I'm gonna cut just a small hole at the tip. You can always do a little test squeeze here if you need to, just to make sure everything is okay and it's the right size hole that you want. Then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start in the center and just follow our pattern. Go ahead and fill that in. Okay. That one is filled. So again, we're going to do that same concept of just skipping one. So we're going to go ahead and start with this one here. Go ahead and fill that in. Have your toothpick. All right. Gonna take some of our sprinkles and just throw a few. Then again, like I mentioned, you take your toothpick. You can sort of set them in a spot. That you want. And it's the same thing over here. Same thing. Sort of want to get some pink in there. What you can also do, let's just grab a little bit of the frosting It'll just help you grab some of those and put them in. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry. I'm gonna come to the first cookie, which is our shell. I'm gonna start filling in the ones that are missing. So we have our peachy color again. I always like to do a little test just to make sure there are no clumps. I'm going to actually cut a bigger hole so that the icing can come out a little bit faster. So I'm going to go ahead and start filling in. Okay. Grab our toothpick. You can always turn your cookie different directions that are more comfortable for you. Again, a little shake, 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 shake. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the middle section. And I don't know if you see that separation, but just allowing it to dry a few minutes gives it that separation. Okay. Grab our toothpick. And everything you need to be able to do your fabulous cookies are in this kit. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the very last one. Again, if you see that it gets clumped up, just go ahead and wipe it down. You always sort of want to start. So now this is sort of in the way, so we're just going to take it out of there. Go ahead and fill that last section. You can just do a few. So around that area, so tie everything in. Okay, that one's done. So we're gonna go ahead and you know what? We'll go ahead and do the starfish. Sorry about that. Because the starfish, we're just gonna go ahead and do one. And then we'll come back to the mermaid fin. So let's clean our little tip. do a little test. We're good to go. Grab our purple stick, because we're using one for each color. Just gonna okay. Gonna grab some of these sprinkles. Put some of these lovely sprinkles on here. I don't know why I'm not able to get a lot of pinks today. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go let that one dry now. And we're gonna start with our fin. So we have that light color. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little trick to get a little design for the bottom of the tail. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut a V. Okay, so if you look, I cut a V, okay? So we're gonna do a little test on the side over here. On our V. And we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of the tail. Just a little design. Gonna start again, giving it a big squeeze and bringing it up. And there goes our tail. All right. So our tail is done. We're gonna head over to our starfish. And we're gonna go ahead and finish those last two sides. Okay. Grab our stick. Okay, grab some of these beautiful sprinkles. Put them on top. I'm just going to play around with it a little bit. All right. All right. And now let's go ahead and do our very last. And then again, get some sprinkles. Okay. Now in the kit, we're also going to have one last thing. Apologies, I did not have it with me. Go ahead and put that one right in the middle. All right, and there goes our lovely cookies. As you can see, they're super easy to do. You don't have to be an expert at cookie making. And there they go. We have our starfish, have a mermaid tail, and our seashell. I hope you enjoyed making your cookies. You can check my page out on Facebook, Jojo's Tasty Treats. You can also check me out on my Instagram page at Jojo's Tasty Treats. And you can also follow, subscribe, and like this